Hey guys, I'm Lilsmirdy. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm gonna try my best to teach you guys how to play Windwalker Monk and everything about Windwalker, the spec, the talents, the rotation. I'm gonna try to teach you guys as much as I can about this spec because this spec is the best spec in my opinion. It's the most fun. I love Windwalker. It has usually some pretty good damage if you can play it. It has really good mobility, it has really good defensive survivability, etc. etc. And it's just really fun to play. So starting off, we're gonna talk about the BIS stats in the War Within. So the two BIS stats you want is haste and versatility. It feels like a lot of classes in the War Within wants haste, just global cooldown, energy regeneration, and stuff like that. So haste and verse is what you want to prio on most of the gear. More than that, I can't really say because then you have to sim your character and see if it's actually an upgrade, where your haste cap is, etc. And then of course, depending on what you want, if you want to do like mythic raiding, very high keys and stuff, you would also want avoidance on your gear, as much avoidance as you can. Because if you read on avoidance, it says reduce damage taken from AoE attacks. And as you may know, in hierarchies, in mythic raiding, it's all about reducing and mitigating as much damage as possible. So avoidance will help a lot with that. Gear wise, what's your best gear and what isn't? It's best if you just look up a guide. I can do a print screen right here if you want to see the BIS gear. When it comes to talents, this new The War Within, there's a lot of talents to go through. So I'm basically gonna try go through the most important parts in my opinion and what I like to play. So starting off with the hero talents, Shadowpan is the best one and most people play Shadowpan. So you get the flurry strikes. I personally like Conduit of the Celestials, Celestial Conduit. I just like the playstyle around this ability. But if you want more sustain AoE, more overall damage, I would recommend you to go Shadowpan. So starting off with the hero talents, we have Celestial Conduit, and right here I'm going Temple Training for more AoE damage. Here I go Yulon's Knowledge. It makes that my rushing Jade Wind's duration is increased by 4 seconds. It's just basically more AoE damage. And then nothing special here. I pick Jade Sanctuary. You heal for 10% of your maximum health instantly when you activate Celestial Conduit and receive 15% less damage. This is so basically you can use this as a extra defensive or extra cooldown in the hierarchies, because that's what I'm planning to do. I want to do hierarchies and then I need more defensives and more healing and mitigating damage, etc. etc. You could also go Fortifying Brew, it's not bad at all. So starting off, we want to have Paralysis. This is also depending on what you're gonna do. Usually you might not need Paralysis, this is just a CC. But if you want to play PvP, for example, you need to have this. And if you want to do Mythic Plus, as I want to do, you're gonna need Paralysis to basically CC a target once in a while. So this is a guarantee to do. Then we have Rising Sun Kick, one of your biggest damage dealing, hardest hitting abilities. Fast Feet, and this will also take because it says Spinning Crane Kick deals 10% additional damage, and Spinning Crane Kick is your big damage ability when it comes to Mythic Plus. So you want to have as many talents as possible to boost your damage with Spinning Crane Kick. Then we have Detox. You're gonna need it for certain weeks to dispel the weekly affixes. And if you get a poison or disease, you can also dispel it on yourself or others. Reduce cooldown of paralysis by 15 seconds and cool off leg sweep. Also really good for Mythic Plus because you can stun more often, CC more often. Kick, super important. Transcendence, super important. It makes that you can leave your body in one place and then if you need to dodge mechanics or whatever, you just click the other transcendence and you teleport to where you place this. Sheet Torpedo or Celerity. I like Sheet Torpedo just of it goes further than roll and I just like how it looks. I'm just used to play with this ability overall, but I would say Celerity is better because you get a extra roll. Increase the range of leg sweep by 4 yards, makes so your stun is larger, very good. Dance of the Wind, your dodge chance is increased by 10% and additional 10% every 4 seconds until you dodge an attack, stacking up to 9 times, very good in case you would randomly get aggro on stuff, bigger chance that you'll dodge. Fortifying Brew, very good, one of your biggest defensive cooldowns. Increases your maximum health and reduces the damage you take by 30%, very good. And then we have Yulon's Grace or Diffuse Magic. I would personally say Diffuse Magic always because it's an extra defensive and just in specific for magic damage. So if you know it's magic damage you're gonna take, you should definitely use this. Super good defensive. Ring of Peace I would always pick as well over Song of Chi-Chi. Basically you throw down your a ring and people can't move into it. It's really good for CCing Iron Shell Brew or Expeditious Fortification. This just reduces the cooldown. This is that you increase your max health by an additional 10% and your damage taken is reduced by an additional 10% while your Fortifying Brew is active. Once again, just makes it a bigger defensive cooldown when you need it. If you would just want to use it more often, this could be better, but as I said, higher keys, etc. I'm gonna need all the damage mitigating I can get, and then I want to use Iron Shell Brew. Summon White Tiger Statue, invoking your Celestials. Also spawns a White Tiger Statue at your location that pulses an extra damage every 2 seconds for 10 seconds, basically more damage. Flow of Chi-Chi, you gain a bonus effect based on your current health. If you're above 90%, more movement speed. Between 90% and 35% damage taken reduced. Below 35% healing received increased by 10%, also just very good. And then we have Fatal Touch, a very good talent in my opinion. Touch of Death increases your damage by 5% for 30 seconds after being cast, and its cooldown is reduced by 90 seconds. So this is what I'm using on bosses, could be good for raiding and stuff, etc. Basically makes your burst phase in the end, your execution phase, so to speak, a lot better. Gives you 5% more damage in the last phase, and those last percentage, those last seconds could be very crucial. So having 5% more damage is definitely worth it. So that's all about the monk side. The best thing to do is to just try around, see what works best for you, look at what the pros are doing, the highest people in Mythic Plus, basically learn from what others are doing, and then see for yourself what suits you. Then we move over to the Windwalker. So starting off we have Fist of Fury, also one of your main damage abilities. We have Acclamation, more damage on Rising Sun Kick. Momentum Boost, Fist of Fury damage is increased by 100% off your haste, and Fist of Fury does 10% more damage each time it deals damage, resetting with Fist of Fury ends, and your auto attack speed is increased by 60% for 8 seconds after Fist of Fury ends. So This means that for each tick in your Fist of Fury, you're gonna do more damage. Hardened Souls, Blackout Kick, Critical Strike, chance increased by 10%, and critical damage increased by 18%. Very big because Blackout Kick is one of your main abilities as well. And then we have Crane Vortex, the most important, or one of the most important abilities in for AoE. Spinning Crane Kick damage increased by 30%, and its radius is increased by 15%. So just more damage. Then we have Courageous Impulse. The Blackout Kick effect also increases the damage of your next Blackout Kick by 125%. Super big talent, very good. And then here we have Dance of Chi. Spending Chi has a chance to make your next Spinning Crane Kick free and deal an additional 200% damage. This is your main talent. This is the reason why Windwalker is so good in AoE. If you proc this 2-3 times in a pack, you're gonna notice it, trust me. So, your most important talent right here. Energy Burst. When you consume Blackout Kick, you have a 100% chance to generate 1 Chi. So this is Blackout Kick costs 2 Chi, but then when you use it, you have a 100% chance to generate 1 Chi. So when it procs, it only costs 1 Chi instead of 2. It's super important. Then we have Shadowboxing Threads. Blackout Kick damage increased by 10% and strikes an additional 2 targets at 70% effectiveness. Sorry, I can't pronounce some certain things. I'm sorry. Uh, Either way, this makes it so you have a bit more AoE when you use Blackout Kick, so you don't really need to just rely on Spinning Crane Kick for AoE or Fist of Fury. So some extra AoE and extra cleave is always nice to have. And then here we can either have the duration of Storm Earth and fire is extended by 25 seconds for every chi you spend, or every 2 chi you spend reduce the cooldown of Storm Earth and fire. I'd rather have it up more often than to have it longer. And then we have a Flurry of Exuen or Hit Combo. Hit Combo is more if you want to focus on single target, and Flurry of Exuen is more for AoE. Let's see where I was. And then we have Invoke Suin, the White Tiger, also one of your big CDs. Very good. It makes that you summon your celestials and it's gonna do damage, etc. Very good talent. Strike of the Windlord, it fists all weapon in front of you, does big physical damage and reduces movement speed by 50%. And this ability also puts on, let's see what it's called. Um, I'll show soon. Rushing Jadewind, Strike of the Windlord applies Mark of the Crane, that's what it's called, to all enemies struck and summons a whirling tornado around you, causing physical damage over 14 seconds to all enemies. So this is more AoE damage to targets. And the most important part is like the reason why Dance of Chigi or Spinning Crane Kick does so much damage is because you have Mark of the Crane on the enemies. I'm gonna go through all that when I'm explaining to you how you play Windwalker Monk. Then we have Thunder Fist. Strike of the Windlord grants you 4 stacks of Thunder Fist and an additional stack for each additional enemy struck. This Thunder Fist discharges upon melee strike, so it deals extra nature damage. Gale Force. Target hit by Strike of the Windlord have a 100% chance to be struck for 10% additional nature damage from your spells and abilities for 10 seconds. So this means that whenever you use Strike of the Windlord, they take more nature damage, and we have Spinning Crane Kick, which is nature damage. And then we have Invoker's Delight, which means that when you summon your Celestials, you gain 15% haste for 20 seconds. Very good. Rising Star, Rising Sun Kick damage increased by 15% and critical strike damage increased by 12%, just more damage on Rising Sun Kick. And this is Sequence Strikes. You have a 100% chance to gain Blackout Kick after consuming Dance of Chigi. So whenever you proc your free Spinning Crane Kick, you're gonna get a proc of Blackout Kick. Very good. And then we have Whirling Dragon Punch. This is also one of your most important and does the most damage on AoE packs when you want to use Whirling Dragon Punch is to use Tiger Palm, gain up chi, use Fist of Fury because it has a 20-second cooldown. Then you use Tiger Palm again, and then Rising Sun Kick, and then Whirling Dragon Punch. And Whirling Dragon Punch, when you use this, you always proc Dance of Chi. So it's basically Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Whirling Dragon Punch, Spinning Crane Kick. That's your basic rotation in AoE packs, or even in single target. Then we have Suen's Bond. Abilities cast by you or your Storm, Earth, and Fire clones that activate Combo Strike reduce the cooldown on your Celestials. Then we have Suen's Battle Gear. Rising Sun Kick, Critical Strike, reduce the cooldown of Fist of Fury by 4 seconds. When Fist of Fury ends, the critical strike chance of Rising Sun Kick is increased by 40%. Transfer the power. Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, and Spinning Crane Kick increase damage dealt by your next Fist of Fury by 3%, stacking up to 10 times. So you can get 30% more damage on Fist of Fury after you've used Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, and Spinning Crane Kick. Think I went through all of the talents right now. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll try answer as best as I can. But this is what I play. When I went through the talents, I quickly explained a little bit on how to play a Windwalker Monk. But I'm quickly gonna explain just here and then when I'm actually attacking mobs in keys. So I'll kinda explain and show you guys how to play a Windwalker Monk. You want to use Tiger Palm and then Fist of Fury, then Tiger Palm, Black Rising Sun Kick, and then when these two are on cooldown, you can use Whirling Dragon Punch and then Spinning Crane Kick. That's basically the basic you want to get in to your system. Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Whirling Dragon Punch, Spinning Crane Kick. It's the simple rotation. But then you also have to take into consideration that you want Mark of the Crane on all your targets always to maximize your damage with Spinning Crane Kick. So if you have your Storm, Earth, and Fire up, just using Storm, Earth, and Fire once will make so all your damage will spread to basically all the targets, because when you use a ability, your clones uses that same ability with 40% less damage of your ability. So if you have cooldowns up, you use cooldowns, and then you're gonna have Mark of the Crane instantly on all targets. And then you can just use Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Whirling Dragon Punch, and Spinning Crane Kick. That's basic rotation with and without cooldowns. So let's say you don't have cooldowns, then you want to go up and basically use Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, but you want to tap target or click on it however you prefer, so you get up Mark of the Crane on all targets. And if you proc Spinning Crane Kick, you always want to use it because you're gonna have this Crane Vortex, you're gonna have Dance of Chi, the talent, and other minor talents that is gonna basically make your Spinning Crane Kick do insane damage. So if you get a proc Dance of Chi, you want to use it always, but you also want to make sure that you have the Mark of the Crane debuff on all the targets so you make more damage. But then you also have, if you read on Spinning Crane Kick, Spinning Crane Kick's damage is increased by 18% for each unique target you've struck in the last 20 seconds with Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, or Rising Sun Kick, stacks up to 5 times. So this means that if you want to maximize your damage on spinning crane kick, you want to go forward, use Tiger Palm on one target, and then Blackout Kick on another target, Rising Sun Kick on one target, Tiger Palm on another target, Blackout Kick, and then Spinning Crane Kick. Because that means you've stacked up 5 unique abilities 5 times, so you have maximum damage, and you've also applied Mark of the Crane to all the targets, so your Spinning Crane Kick will do the most damage. Celestial Conduit instead of Shadowpan. So this is basically just a lot of damage and a bit of healing on basically one target or as many targets as there are. So I use this as a filler basically. You always want to use it if you have it up, of course. But what I do is I go in Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, and then Whirling Dragon Punch, Spinning Crane Kick, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, and then when Fist of Fury is on cooldown, Rising Sun Kick is on cooldown, and I have basically low energy and low chi, then you want to fit in a Celestial Conduit, and it's basically a 3.3-second channel time. So that basically means you get the most out of it, but you don't want to wait too long to use it. And you can also use it basically whenever you go in. You're gonna have to play and find out, see what works best for you. This is just how I play. And Mythic Plus, if you have everything up, just use your Storm, Earth and Fire and your Celestial, and then Tiger Palm once, Fist of Fury, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Whirling Dragon Punch, and Spinning Crane Kick. And then, of course, if you use Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury, Tiger Palm, and you're like, oh, I got a proc, use Spinning Crane Kick, and then Rising Sun Kick, and then Whirling Dragon Punch, and then Spinning Crane Kick again. But then let's say you don't have cooldowns up, and you're like, there's so many targets, I don't want to just click on every target. Well, then you can use Strike of the Windlord, because you have a talent, so if you use Strike of the Windlord, you're gonna get the debuff Mark of the Crane on every single target in the pack. So you don't need to worry about clicking that target, clicking that target, clicking that target, and then you just have it up on all targets instantly. So then you can go in, Tiger Palm, Strike of the Windlord, Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Whirling Dragon Punch, Spinning Crane Kick. This is the basic rotation of how to play a Windwalker monk. And if you look at it, it might look like there's a lot of abilities here and there, but it really isn't that hard. But it's like any spec. If you're new to it, you put some time and effort into it, it's gonna get a lot easier. And then of course you have leg sweep, which is just a basic stun like this. You just stun all targets around you. You have your ring of peace, a little extra CC, so if you need to run away from mobs, you just put it like here, they can't enter. If let's say you have a mob right here and your caster here, you can use your ring and put it here, so it's gonna get knocked over closer to you. Just so many ways that you can use it to CC and stuff. And then you have Touch of Death. You can only use if you have basically less HP than you or 15% HP or less. Then you have Touch of Karma, one of your biggest defensive cooldowns. Super good. If you feel like you're gonna take a lot of damage, use it and you should be good. And if you don't have it up, you have Fortifying Brew. This is also really good if you know you're gonna take a big chunk of damage, or if you know you're gonna take damage over time for like 5-10 seconds. This is really good to use. Diffuse magic is what you should use when you know you're gonna take magic damage, because diffuse magic only reduces magic damage taken. So when you have like a dot on you, or if you need to cleanse something, use diffuse magic, super good defensive cooldown. Then we have paralysis, as I went through a little bit when I explained the talents. Just a extra CC on one mob, really good to have if you need to CC something. And then you have Transcendence and Transcendence Transfer. So you can put your body here and then you're like, oh shit, I fell off. Bloop. You just TP back. So Transcendence and Transcendence Transfer is very good. Chi Torpedo, as I like to use it, or you have Roll. Chi Torpedo is like this, and then you get a movement speed for 30% for a few seconds after. Very good to avoid mechanics and stuff. Tiger's Lust increases a friendly target's movement speed by 70% for 6 seconds and removes all roots and snares. So this is really good if you get stuck in a CC and you're like, oh shit, there's ability coming towards me. You just use it and you run out. Or if you just want to speed up a party member or yourself, you have Spear Hand Strike. Your kick interrupts your any cast. Very good, very important. But yeah, guys. So this is basically a little quick guide. Hopefully, I explained it good and clearly so you can understand, and hopefully, it makes you try out Monk because it's really fun. And yeah, it has good defensive, good mobility, good damage. Any new class you would want to learn to play, I would recommend Windwalker Monk. And yeah, we have Flying Serpent Kick. Whee! Oh shit. So I may or may not have died just now when I used Flying Serpent Kick. But basically it's an ability that you can use to dodge mechanic and then you click it again to cancel it. Very good. And it's just a super fast reaction if you're like, oh shit, I'm in shit. And you don't have Sheet Torpedo Roll on cooldown or even Tiger's Lust. And you can use Flying Serpent Kick. If you also want to learn how to play a Windwalker Monk, you have to keep in mind that your mastery does so that your abilities deal 26% more damage, or however much mastery you have, that your abilities deal more damage when they are not a repeat of the previous ability. So it's not as important on AoE packs because sometimes it's just better to spam spinning crane kick than to sit there and focus on that you have to click a different ability. But I'm so used to it that I very rarely click the same ability. So if you click Tiger Palm, then Blackout Kick, Tiger Palm, Rising Sun Kick, Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury, Tiger Palm, Fist of Fury, etc. etc. So keep in mind that this is what your mastery does. I hope I explained it somewhat good, but it's still a lot to learn. It's a lot to take in if you're not used to the class. And maybe if you're used to the class, maybe you learn something, maybe not. But that's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you try out Windwalker Monk. And thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. It's the best way that you can support me. And I'll see you guys in the next one.